Hello, this is going to be a brief introduction on how to do a simple edit on GitHub on Ansible documentation. And I'm going to start with showing you where to find some easy fix doc issues. So if you go over to the Ansible repository, you can click the Issues button. And then what you want to do, since we're focusing on documentation, you want to find the docs labels. Oops. The docs labels, and click that. And now you can see we have 124 open docs issues. Now, to find the easy fix, we do the same thing, apply the easy fix label, and it'll show us that we have 10 easy fix items. So we'll start with this one here, host pin strategy calls playbook, et cetera, et cetera. So in this, I'm not going to focus too much on the actual report, but it does have a lot of detail, which is very helpful when we're trying to troubleshoot some documentation issues. So pardon the scrolling. I know this is probably a bit fast. But we come down here and we have the first comment tells us that this is actually the behavior that we want. And it gives a couple of workarounds. It says you can use ignore unreachable. And then the original poster here comes in and says, okay, that's great. But it would be better if we put some more documentation here to let us know that this is possible. So I'm going to open that in a separate section. And I'm going to tab over to it, and you can see using keywords to control execution. This is what the reader was doing with the batch size with serial. And you can go ahead on your own and read some of this if you want. But basically, it tells you how to use this. And what we need is somewhere after this example to say, be aware of what this does. And if we come back here, this fellow actually tells us where we want to link to. Okay, so we're going to open that up as well. Error handling in a playbook, set maximum failure percentage. Okay, so this is the file that we want to change because it's setting the batch size. That's where we want to put a note. So if I scroll up to the top, I have a very convenient edit on GitHub button. Now the only thing this requires is that you already have a GitHub account. You click edit on GitHub. And now I want to scroll down here. I'm going to make this a bit more visible. It's not working for me, sorry. And I'd scroll down here until I find the batch size. This is what we saw before, setting the batch size with serial. Tells us what it is. And then we have an example and the output from that. So right after this, we want to put in, if I just click my button there, I can start making changes. So I want to put in a note. And I want it to say, setting the batch size with serial, and just this scope. I got a little button in my way. Changes the scope of spool. Use ignore unreachable, which was in the comments, or here I'm going to put a reference. And this is where it gets tricky, because what we want to do, and this is a little bit advanced, it's usually not an easy fix, but we want to come in and set a link to maximum failure percentage. And the way to find out what that link is, how do we create that link? So we come up here, we do an edit on GitHub just to see the file. We're not actually editing this one, but you can see there's a bunch of things that precede the headers here. And that's what we're going to use as a reference. So if we scroll down, there's our ignore unreachable that we talked about before. And then what we're looking for is not controlling that. We're looking for is down here. Scroll, scroll, scroll. Setting maximum failure percentage. This is what the commenter talked about. We'll come back here again. Setting maximum failure percentage. Okay. So what we want is this thing right here. That's what's going to give us our link. So I'm going to copy that, close out that window, come back here, and I'm going to put that in here. That's it. That is my change. I've put in a simple note, just using edit on GitHub. I'm going to scroll down here. And what I'm going to do is say it fixes this issue. Okay. The docs pull request. You don't really have to change stuff down below this. And I'm just going to put the number that it fixes. Okay. And then in the title of the commit changes, I'm going to say okay. So that's telling me that's a bit long, so I'm going to that down in here and said, let's see, I'm just going to put that note the serial docs. You can see down here, it's going to create a new branch for me. And it's just called that. You don't have to care about the name of it. That should come automatically based on your GitHub ID. And I hit commit changes. It's going to bring up how to open a pull request. It already has the note in there. It has everything that I need. It's a docs pull request. I shouldn't have to change anything. And I hit create pull request. So that's basically it. At this point, it's created a PR for us. I can actually come in here and take a look at the note that I added in there. Okay. And over time, what will happen is there's a bot that comes in and assigns labels to it and will also run, oh, I did something wrong here. My apologies. This should actually only say docs pull request. So I'm going to come in here and edit this. And just get rid of all the rest of these. And I'm going to put the component name is actually the file name. But I'm just going to hit update comment. And what it's doing now is it's running the CI tests. Ansible has a lot of CI tests that run in the background. Some of them are actually documentation tests. So it'll take sometimes 20 minutes, sometimes an hour for the test results to come back. If everything worked, you can see up here, you can kind of see it in the browser tab up at the top that it has a little sort of teal gray dot that says the test isn't done. If it passes, it'll be a check mark and somebody can come in and review it and eventually merge it. If it doesn't pass and ends up with errors, the errors will eventually come out in the comments. And you can, typically it's an RST error, maybe I did the note wrong or maybe I did the ref wrong. Sometimes it's more complicated. The best thing to do is to, if you are on IRC or Matrix, drop into the docs channel and just ask a question, or just wait and eventually one of us will see that it has an error and try to help out. And that's about it. Thank you.